Hello everyone, we are here into Chief Delegate, open to all delegates and EOS member, hidden on EOS member. So we are the 24th of August, and I have the pleasure to be with Mo, Gabriel, my fellow CDs. So we have a tech dev with Duane working group, then reputation with Sachit. I think he's not here, so maybe Mo you will cover. Then comms and media, that's myself. Gabriel, if he join again for preparation for IFA integration, admin finance selection, governance bylaw, incubator Gabriel, and then general discussion, Q&A. Tech dev, Duane, I think you have received some proposals, correct?
Yeah, 100%. We got a proposal from Vlad for the tech dev group, funding proposal, and the proposal is the Fractal app for the working group, including features to integrate video, recording, member induction system, distribution system for the respect distribution, permissions based on respect holdings, randomizations into groups, and on-chain ranking. And there's a figure involved, 50% within 7 days of accepting the proposal, and the balance was 7 days. Let me just scroll up, see where that was here. 50% within 7 days after the first tech dev meeting, utilizing the Fractal app.
Okay, perfect. And I recommend the people to go into the tech dev working group, watch the video of this week. Tech dev, it's posted there. Gabriel, you have something to say about a spreadsheet that you are creating for the proposals.
I've got a draft of a spreadsheet that will show all of the operational expenses that the community has. The columns are like the objective, the background, the specific deliverables, the amount that's requested, the approvers that are relevant, that kind of stuff. So it's relatively straightforward, pretty logical, and then the community can have that, and then we'll see where money gets spent as a record. And also to go along with that is a shortened version of the full project proposal document. If it's something that is new and extensive, such as what we've just heard that Vlad is proposing, then that would go into the full new project request or budget request template. If it's something very simple, like updating the documentation that is relevant to Geon at the moment, then it's just a few questions. It's like, what is the background? What is the change that's going to happen? And what is the cost, right? Pretty straightforward. So instead of having to think, well, I've got to go through all of this long list of questions to get $50 for doing some update, then it's very simple. And then that item then becomes a line item in this budget spreadsheet. And we'll share that with the community very, very soon, maybe tomorrow. That's it.
Okay, perfect. Next point, we have an IFA hidden election update by yourself, Gabriel.
Okay. I have more. I guess I'll share the demo in the relevant group, right? The tech group. I think last week I did with this group, I tried to show, and I realized because it was just a Figma prototype, I realized later the extra couple of steps I needed to click, but it shows the round one collection of groups. And then if I just clicked onwards, it then shows the round two section. If I click onwards, it shows the chief delegate section. So they've got all of that mapped out in the design. And the technical update, just in brief, is that the front end design has been coded, and now we're waiting for the back end developer to become free, which might hopefully happen in the next week. And that's no guarantee, but that's the expectation so far. And then the back-end smart contract developer will work to review the existing smart contracts look at either rewriting all of it or some of it using the code base that's already there, or just connecting what's there if it will play nicely with the front end code that the front end team. That at best it might take a week or two, and at worst it might take maybe 4 weeks to do this smart contract connection, depending on my rework is necessary to tie the front end that's been developed. So hopefully that makes sense for folks generally here. And I'll try and have a bit more depth of detail in the tech meeting, the next tech working group.
Perfect. So I think we can go directly to reputation now. Sashit is not here, but we have Mo and me also. We were into the reputation call this week. So Mo, maybe let's go you first about the reputation system.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, essentially we're just updating and moving forward with the UI and building that out with Adam and his team, and just making progress in that regard. They're slowly leading through it, so yeah.
So there, as always, there is a video into the working group reputation and showing a nice demonstration about the last status of the UI, presentation made by DLT, Detroit Ledger Technology, and the people that were, in particular, Alexander of this DLT team. He has made a nice presentation about the UI. So go there. Comms and media. So I will give maybe the mic to Liam. He's here about the task that we have assigned in Comms and Media last Friday for this Friday coming, about those tasks that are just written here, Liam plus Veronica. So Liam, maybe you want to remind a little bit on that.
Yeah, we just got a
Hello, Liam.
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Perfect. We just got a table going in Notion that we're going to be grabbing some KPIs. There's a couple, like I don't have access to a lot of things right now, so we can always discuss that tomorrow. I don't need to have access to things either. It's just we need somebody to populate the spreadsheet. And so I'm trying to get some instructions in place in the Notion for each sort of KPI so that in the future, whoever's grabbing them knows where to find them. And we've always got that sort of knowledge there. And then Veronica's going to be populating that. So that's the main thing right now. We do need to get going on some sort of social planning and stuff like that. But I think our branding exercises are going to influence sort of the graphics and things around that. So hopefully we can have some stuff in place there over the next couple weeks.
Yeah. And that's the task for August. We don't put the task for September. We are focused on August, what we can do already on this August month. And that seems realistic. Okay. So welcome into the Comms and Media on Friday, and we will iterate on that. Gabriel, you have something about preparation for Wi-Fi integration announcement of the platform, a one-pager. So I think you will also announce that for this Friday, correct? When you join the Comms and Media?
Yeah, so I've worked on this draft. It's certainly longer, so than one page, maybe depends on how small we make the font. But we can reduce it if folks think it's worth reducing. And I've shared that just today with Patrick and Mo, who are now adding input to that draft. And then, yeah, hopefully we can share that tomorrow in the working group.
Perfect.
When it's finalized, is there a channel that you want to push that through? Like, should we be setting up a Medium or something like that, perhaps? I guess we can discuss this more tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good topic for tomorrow. Even maybe a Substack. Like, it depends what the community wants to do, but we certainly need to figure out our channels. I agree. Let's talk about that tomorrow.
Perfect.
Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Liam. So I think admin finance selection, next working group.
Yeah, essentially we were just discussing further investment options for the treasury and how to go about that. what it would take from the coding side to make that available, and what we can do with the Treasury. We discussed a series of other things during the meeting, but not so much on topic. So this is what was most relevant, in my opinion, that came out of that discussion. And we're open to hearing from the community in regards to any ideas that would be for good investment options for the Treasury.
Yeah. We were discussing on another meeting. This one was not recorded because that was just a so little committee, but we were discussing in other admin finance election about Shintai as an option, DeFi box as an option, Rex as an option. There was different option indeed to take in consideration. Okay, so governance bylaw. There was a recording this week, so you can go there. You see also the recording. So we were making good progress there. Mo, again, if you can give
Yeah, more updating to the code of conduct, and discussing the moderator's requirements for how we're going to go about creating a way to filter out moderators and qualify them, and the moderator internal governance in terms of how they're going to reach agreements amongst themselves if there's a difference in terms of how one or another rules in regards to someone's behavior. So yeah, we just kept developing that in the bylaws, the code of conduct.
perfect, Mo. So Incubator, Gabriel.
Yep. So the Incubator, we're also, I think part of this Eden Haifa announcement has also mixed in something about the Incubator. Again, I had a meeting with Mo and Patrick, and we're kind of refactoring. I can't remember. That might have been the Incubator working group, right? So there was more of us involved in that conversation. But we're looking at making the Incubator more of a longer term aspiration for the community, given that EOS Labs has been announced and a big amount of funding from the ENF is already allocated to that. And let's not get into the politics on this call, but we're trying to paint a way forwards that makes the Eden community relevant for future funding that contributes to an overall incubation of projects within the EOS ecosystem. There's nothing, I'm not trying to be mysterious there. I'm trying to say, whatever the EOS Labs does, maybe there's other opportunities that is relevant to a kind of an incubator experience that we can do as a fan-based EOS community of members. It might be that we take different types of projects or something and then build up our credibility and our experience doing that. And then who knows what can happen in the future, and we can become more of a formalized incubator, because no ecosystem only needs one incubator. Good, thriving ecosystems will have multiple entities that are contributing towards the overall big picture. So as a first stepping stone, it might be that we are best placed as more of a, what we're generally calling an ambassador program, where we are representing EOS. It's like, feels like more of something to create presentations and workshops and meetup groups and go to conferences and sponsor people to do different levels of content or presentation about the EOS ecosystem, and then use that to attract projects and founders and funders, and then funnel that as appropriate into the EOS Labs or whatever else in the ecosystem, and by us being kind of a first stepping stone, and see where that progresses.
I had a question for Dwayne. I was in the meeting when the presentation was made by Jorge and Vlad, but I didn't catch a price. I think you mentioned some kind of time scope and a trigger for when it was going to be paid, but I didn't catch a price. Did they mention a price to you, or is it in that paper?
Yes, the proposal states the price. saying that there was two statements. One was that the usual cost for the work would be about $50,000, and the proposal was for $14,400, split into two payments, 7 days after acceptance and 7 days after the first meeting utilizing the system.
So the 50,000 was just like, this is what the open market normally would have charged, and we're gonna do it for you guys for 14. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Just want to say a comment on this because we have leads into the working group, as you know, and in tech dev, that's Duane. So the process is he has received the proposal. Now he sent the proposal to the CDs, and then we come back. That's the process. I am not wrong, Mo. That's the process.
So yeah, basically the question is, what value can we bring to the ENF? What value can we bring to EOS? Generally and specifically to EOS more than anything else. If what the community, what the ecosystem needs is people to go out and bring in projects, that's the fundamental basis of what I was proposing Eden on EOS drive to, apart from having the incubator already, but apparently that's been decided to have sufficient value so that the ENF could also want to leverage it. But the ambassador part is fundamental in my view, that we have a team, we have an international community that is spread out and able to go to conferences with ease, or with greater ease than having it all come out of a central place, and having the ability to translate and to create content in different languages and for different communities, and having the outreach. It's a shame to let it go to waste. That is, I think, one of our biggest resources. Haifa has contributed greatly with the tooling. I don't know how much more tooling we need that we can't maybe continue to develop as we get funding, as we secure funding. I'm going to go ahead and let Gabriel had his hand up first.
Yeah, I don't know how much more clear to actually make this. I work with Haifa. The ENF gave a big grant to Haifa to develop a bunch of its functionality. The ENF wants Haifa, which is already a DAO tooling platform, to be able to offer DAO tooling services to anyone in the EOS community. The ENF is not going to sponsor Eden to create anything that Haifa is already doing or has on the cards. The only opportunity we have is incubating DAOs, just as we can incubate any Web3 project with a view for them building on EOS. And what that is called is business development, and a broader term for business development is marketing. So we're not going to be coding DAO tools when Haifa is already the DAO tool platform of choice with our potential funders, the ENF and vis-a-vis, or whatever the phrase is, the block producers themselves.
Thank you, Gabriel. I will give the mic to Liam and then to Perry. So, Liam.
Yeah. Let me think what I was going to say. I think that the idea of, focusing on DAO stuff, I mean, I'll just echo what Gabrielle had said, that it seems like a redundancy. If there's already, Haifa that's building out these tools, and we're trying to align the Eden community more with that tooling. Also, if the, Eden Fractal's already developing these tools and these, consensus games, well, there's another organization in the ecosystem that's doing it. I'll repeat something that I kind of said a couple weeks ago, I think, on a marketing call. And I'm not involved in the incubator work group. I don't really have time to be involved there. I wish I did. But I think there's a need to incubate people, right? And to give people tools. If you look at, I think some good competitors to look at in the Ethereum ecosystem are things like Dream DAO, or I think SheFi is another. And these are projects that are focused on just helping people who are new to the space learn about the space, incubate them, and place them somewhere, right? Across the ecosystem in general in EOS, we don't have many working groups. We have the tooling on Haifa to build these working groups that could start to, provide value across the ecosystem. But we don't really have anything bringing people into the ecosystem and placing them, right? So I would again say that I'm not quite sure what that means. It's maybe up to the incubator team to decide, but thinking about incubating people is I think the most important thing, more so than DAO tooling, startup projects, whatever, right? I also would say that, just in response to the comment about not needing marketing, we as a community, as the Eden community, need people, right? Just to start contributing and growing these working groups. Our working groups are very small. So helping just by starting focusing on getting people working within the Eden community, we can start to see what that looks like. And hopefully that means that there's more people coming with more ideas to contribute, right? And more skills. So yeah, incubating people is sort of what I would push on.
Thank you, Liam. Before to give to Perry, I just want to let's focus a little bit, refocus the focus about the tech dev of this week. That was a 1 hour long meeting, not speaking of Eden Fractal, that was speaking about fractal methods, fractal tools, a platform made by Vlad and Matthias, and how it could help Eden on EOS to take some fractal methods where that fits. Now we have some discussion into the Bylaws working group, like a ping pong of question answer to understand the things. So we are just let's say doing brainstorming, and sure there is a value for those fractal tools, methods. I don't speak about hidden fractal. We were speaking really about the fractal tools. So I give the mic to Perry, and then to Vlad. Perry.
Yes, thank you. What I'm trying to say is that the same thing that we were trying to do for VCs in that kind of relationship, where we're feeding them projects, we're feeding them pre-vetted, pre-developed to some degree projects that saves them time and energy. We can have that same relationship. I believe we could at least explore it, that relationship with Haifa. Why wouldn't Haifa appreciate us for onboarding new projects onto their platform? That's one aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it is technologies themselves. Haifa doesn't have everything. This is a new space. There are new ideas everywhere. Are they going to want to develop everything themselves and spend their dollars? Maybe, maybe not. Do they that for a large as a company becomes larger, it becomes more and more difficult to access the organic demands in a market. We may be closer to the ground in that respect. Let's say, for example, what's happening in Eden Fractal and what's happening here in our group. We're using that technology. Why couldn't the project that is now being considered within the work group, and this is what I was going to say, and I'll say it now, why couldn't that project that Vlad and Jorge are putting forth in a work group, why couldn't that be a project that is granted money as within the incubator program? So it's the same project, it's the same money, but now we're just incubating it, and we're developing it, and we see where it goes. And we may decide to use it, we may not, but we are developing these projects that can be consumed within our community. And Haifa would have the right, the ability to look at that, just as they're looking at the upvote process, just as they're integrating the upvote process. They can decide to do something with that technology. That, I think, is a plus for the whole ecosystem, for Haifa, for us. That I think creates an alignment that is a 1 + 1 = 3. Thank you.
Thank you, Perry. Before to give to Vlad, just want to remind, or to Gabriel, but first Vlad before Gabriel for sure. Just want to say something. We have on the table different tools, platforms. IFA, this platform of Fractal by Vlad and Matthias. Okay, stay open mind. We have other different platforms. That's not competition. That's just let's connect, collaborate together, and find where there is value added on a platform A, and maybe another value added on a platform B, and then C. We have a good landscape of solutions, Web3 solution. So we have to find the way to connect that. There is another problem. That's the time or the pressure that we have a little bit on the shoulder with the funds, the treasury, and all what we have. Let's stay concrete, really concrete. So there are platforms that are already made. There are other platforms that are not yet finished or enough mature. But that doesn't mean that we cannot take in consideration into the basket. That's my 2 cents. Okay, let's go to Vlad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Usually I disagree with Perry, but today he made some pretty good points. Something that I will echo as well. So I have 2 comments. One is that DAO tooling is not the same. So there are different communities that have different needs. And what we are building, it is it is different in that sense to HIFA. And I'm actually even been thinking about approaching HIFA to collaborate in order so that they would fill, so to say, the gap that they are not providing with their solution. So that's one thought. Another one is that I don't understand why we are focusing on getting the sponsorship. So why our focus isn't on thinking of become self-sustainable on sponsors, so to say. So
Are you here, Vlad?
Yeah, I lost Vlad.
yeah,
You are here? Okay.
can you hear?
Yeah.
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, DAO tooling is different, and why should we rely on sponsorships when we could think of how we could develop a business model, so to say.
Mm-hmm. That's all? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vlad, for your intervention. Appreciated. Give to Mo. Oh, no, sorry, Gabriel, you were after Vlad.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
bad connection, dropping off. Thanks.
Yeah.
So those two points, Vlad, I very much agree that it'd be ideal if we had a business model. I don't think we meant to exclude those options, but I certainly see that we haven't been talking about them recently. One of the earlier ideas was to package our upvote election process, because that's what we had at the time, and productize that and try and sell that through consulting or technology provision to organizations. So we'd have this Eden on Edens concept. And yeah, there's probably a lot of other services that we could provide as a community. And I think we should go down that rabbit hole. I'm all in favor of exploring that. From the DAO tooling perspective, I also agree that there's not just one way to do a DAO, but I can save you time in terms of speaking to IFA, because I, again, work with them. and I speak a little bit faster, and I just try and get straight to the point because I know you guys. I'm going to speak directly to you guys. You could spend 2 or 3 hours talking with Hypha's people, and what they will lead you to is that you can create a service DAO on the Hypha platform and promote your offer to all Hypha DAOs in the Hypha DAO ecosystem as a service DAO. So everyone, we can all create 20 different service DAOs on the Hypha platform. It's free, it's entirely free for DAOs of 5 core members or less. So if there's like 3 of us that want to offer a particular thing, like Vlad's development services or Fractal reward reputation system or whatever it is, we can absolutely do that. And that will be the conclusion of speaking to Hypha for 3 hours, when they take you through all of their pitch presentations about how great the network's going to be and why you should be involved and etc. And it's all true, but the bottom line will be they're not going to pay you to offer your service to anyone in the Hypha network. They're going to say, open up your DAO and we'll help you promote it within the ecosystem. And there's nothing stopping us from doing that. That's what they want. That's what they're promoting, and that's what we can do as soon as they launch their beta platform. So if there's groups of us that want to get together and be able to offer particular types of things, I'm thinking of opening a product planning and growth and marketing service DAO on the Hypha platform, and any of us can do any of that kind of stuff.
Okay, you just said it. You're doing what I just suggested. Okay, I think you've already bought it.
Well, so what you were saying was that we should incubate DAOs. That's not what I just said. So over to you, Mo.
Yeah, there was several points that were addressed so far. Let me see if I can speak to a few of them. In terms of the development of this tooling, I would say, if the ENF isn't funding that, they've chosen to fund Hypha for the tooling, then that's the way to go, I would say. And if you're interested in selling it to Hypha, then you'd also be going through the ENF if you want to decentralize it, per se. You could make a proposal to them. You could go through EOS Labs, I guess, now and see if they'll incubate that option. And you would get direct funding for that option. You would also have to show them how you can monetize that option, because they would be interested in that. As far as trying to look for other sources of funding, the reason that we've chosen to focus on receiving funding from the ENF, or not even the ENF, but the block producers and the EOS community, is because this is Eden on EOS. You could say that 99% of the members here joined because of EOS, so we're all EOS focused. This isn't Eden. This isn't there aren't other views here being expressed. This is all generally EOS focused. So that's why we've turned to the EOS community first and trying to explore those funding options. But like you pointed out, and like Gabriel also pointed out, looking for other funding options has never been off the table. We just wanted to explore this route first. And as an incubator, the idea was that we would get to a point where we would be self-sufficient and be overly contributing to the EOS community more than taking it. So yeah, I think there was nothing else. I think I spoke to all the points.
Okay, Perry is raising a question into the Zoom chat. Project planning equal incubation at Gabriel. So maybe Gabriel, you want to answer on that?
Sorry, what was the question? Was it in the chat?
It's not even a question. It's a confirmation, let's say a statement. Project planning equal incubation. So maybe Perry, you want to say the things loud and clear, what you mean by that?
Yeah, project planning is incubation. Yeah, so okay, so I think we can project planning. Yes, so we want to be able to help funders, founders, developers, blockchain enthusiasts, people who want to build happiness and freedom and work with the wonderful community like we are. We want to work with them to plan projects, whether that be decentralized governance, worker proposal systems, fractal stuff, DAO stuff, DeFi stuff, metaverse stuff, all of the Web3 stuff. Yes, we want to work with people to do project planning, and some of that and the way that I think of incubation, yes. So incubation, we're trying to stretch. I think that's exactly what we're trying to suggest with this idea of an ambassador program, is that we're stretching the typical definition of an incubator. Typical definition of incubator for venture capital is that they'd be looking to receive venture capital funding for the project. In our case, maybe that's not necessary. Maybe it is that we're incubating a project that can become our own bootstrapped product that maybe we cannot or don't want to get funding for, but we bootstrap it and sell it through us as a DAO. Or it might be other types of thing that wouldn't be fundable via a VC investor, such as a local hackathon group in Timbuktu that wants to build EOS smart contracts and become a developer agency. That's not something that would be incubated in a traditional sense of getting venture capital funding. But yes, we can certainly work with them for project planning. So maybe project planning is a nice way for all of us to be on a similar page.
Perry?
So what I are in fact incubation. So what I'm suggesting is a form of incubation of DAOs, and that's essentially what I hear what you're doing. Now, what you're not saying, you're not suggesting that you're going to be going into tooling, but what I will tell you is that the very moment you begin incubating, whether that's in the form of promotion or marketing or ambassador, the first thing you're going to run up against are the problems associated with incubating those DAOs. You're going to have people are going to ask you, well, what's the best way to handle the passing of private keys between terms, between elected officials? Those are real problems, and that would lead to, well, we need to figure out a solution. How do we do that? So that's what I'm suggesting, is that we include. I wouldn't suggest that we not market ourselves, that we not form some form of promotion, but I'm suggesting that the primary problem are we have primary problems that need to be resolved, and I think that we are perfectly positioned to solve those, and that's where I think that we should be going. And
yeah,
so,
well, I don't think that's us going anywhere different than what we've actually been trying to do for the past year and a half as the community. But anyway, Mo.
Yeah, I would just say, like, that's all well and good, but you're not addressing the issue of the treasury. So if you're not speaking to how we get more funding in the treasury, any solutions that you give are essentially saying, let's drain the treasury, and once it's empty, then we can all go our own separate ways.
Unless Perry, you don't care about treasury. That's one perspective.
Let's ask those people.
Well, we do need. Hold on, we do need treasury at least to run the basic election. At least we have had to with Edenia. It's cost us like, how much is it, Mo, Patrick? It's like
$1,750 per month.
A month, just to maintain ourselves with Edenia.
Yeah, we receive the invoice of Edenia each month. That's monthly, and we have to pay that. Yeah,
that will drop to potentially nothing, hopefully with Haifa, but it's not crystal clear until they do the smart contract review.
Yeah,
but it's going to be nothing with Haifa, but we have to have something in the kitty. So what we might do is just require all members to pay like $30 a month to be a Haifa member, or more. It might have to be. At this rate, with the 20 of us that's here, we'd have to be paying $170 $75, something like that, for each, just to sustain what we've got with Edenia, let alone do anything new, let alone go to conferences and find new people. So the treasury remains. So it's a question for Vlad as well. Yeah, maybe we can sell our services and build up the treasury that way. But, well, like from a marketing background, a product background, it's not just about having an idea and expecting that magically customers are going to come and pay us lots of money. We've got to be able to have something that we can take to market. And the view is that we need to bolster and if it's not respected by the funders, then like we really are going our own independent way. So I don't see any clash. We got to find a product that we can sell in the market. That takes time, and we need to support ourselves with treasury for operating expenses in the meantime. And Perry, again, I think to Mo's point, Perry, you don't seem to be suggesting anything that our opportunity for funding would support. Haifa is not going to fund Eden to incubate DAOs.
Well, I mean, you don't speak wholly for IFA. No one does. And what I have answered to that in the past is that we should do our best to try to get both Haifa and ENF in the same room and ask them, where can we fit here? Just put it out on the table. How do we fit? ENF, you're going in this direction with EOS Labs and ENV. Haifa, you're going in this direction, okay. ENF, you've expressed support for Haifa based on your grant. How can we contribute to this wave of energy? And just put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, but as Gabriel just pointed out, he's essentially doing something very similar to what you're suggesting already on Haifa. So it's not like they need us to do what you're suggesting.
I don't know if we know. I mean, do you really know that they wouldn't appreciate new technologies and ideas that they could
in my view, the EOS community could use more than one incubator as well. There's no reason really to abandon that idea in its entirety. So by all means, if we can productize any of these things, if we have a business plan and a way to move forward, then things can happen. I suggest if you want to pursue that route, you continue to build something that can attract more attention and more support. I wouldn't be against it. Like Vlad was just saying, having a means to productize this and find revenue from other sources is something that we were already exploring as a secondary plan in the event that we're not something that the EOS community would like to continue supporting. So
we're not special in a sense that many other groups are trying to find themselves. They're trying to find the funding. They're trying to find their service. They're trying to find their grounding. And I don't have an answer, but sometimes just this process might be something that we discuss in some of our groups of the challenges we faced might be our attributes to share. You know, even it's kind of like a pre-tooling, or you were saying we have DAC tools and all the things we have. But one thing we do have is the challenges that we're facing in these questions. And that could be boxed as a service in the future, because we're not alone in this struggle to find ourselves, to find the meaning, to attract people, right? So yeah, just an open statement.
Beautiful, Duane, I love you. I love you all. I am very happy to be with Mo, fellow CD, Gabriel, my fellow CD. I am happy to be in contact with Vlad, with everyone into this community. So let's just continue to strive EOS, and time to conclude with Go Eden on EOS. Woohoo! 3, 2, 1, and 0. Go Eden on EOS!
Eden on EOS.
Hallelujah. Woohoo!